of our cancer research centers in Florida. These centers are the primary places where teams of cancer scientists and clinicians work to find breakthroughs that will lead to cure. The researchers at our cancer centers bring great ideas to the table, then compete for the funding necessary to make the best of these great ideas reality. Today, our advocates include folks from the Moffitt Cancer Center, some of whom are our bicyclists who pedaled all the way from Tampa. Also the Sylvester Cancer Center at the University of Miami and the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. The significance of having such a good cross-section from Florida's cancer-fighting community cannot be understated, as together we all carry a clear and loud, unified message to our lawmakers that cancer should and must be a public policy priority here in Tallahassee. We have come from nearly every county and legislative district to meet with your representatives and senators about the issues that are important to cancer patients and their families. We represent a growing contingent of American Cancer Society volunteers in Florida, currently around 350,000 of us, who believe that advocacy is vital to our mission of eliminating cancer as a major health problem. We are also the voice from the more than 113,000 Floridians who are diagnosed with cancer each year, and the nearly 41,000 who die from this disease. Together, we are going to have an impact on the war on cancer by convincing our state legislators to join us in this fight. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce one of our great leaders in this effort, Ralph DeVito, the CEO of the American Cancer Society's Florida Division.
Good morning, all, and Danny Armstrong, thank you. Thank you for your leadership and your hard work. To all the volunteers from all over the state of Florida, thank you for being here. And with one voice, we're going to be advocating for 3 critical life-saving issues: for the Mary Brogan Breast and Cervical Cancer Program, for biomedical research, and for tobacco prevention. It is critical to save lives that we, with one voice, convince our legislators to be supportive of those issues. Starting with the Mary Brogan program, the current level of federal funding in Florida is about $5 million. Florida is one of only 7 states with no state matching money. None. In Florida, about 6% of eligible women are served by this program. That is unacceptable. We must have our voices heard to add state dollars to that critical life-saving breast cancer screening program. 178,000 women in Florida alone are affected. We must ask our legislature this year to begin a 4-year journey to match the federal money with state money. It is vital that we take that first step this session. Volunteers, let's do that. In addition, we know how critical biomedical and cancer research funding is for the life-saving work that it delivers on. Florida is in a position of having 2 important programs. The King program and the Bankhead Coley research programs were reauthorized 2 years ago, which is great. And they were well funded for a time. Unfortunately, funding for those 2 critical biomedical and cancer programs, those research programs, the funding for those programs has been diminished. We must, at a minimum this year, continue with funding for those programs, and we must insist that the research dollars be issued in a competitive peer review process so the best science gets funded wherever it is in the state of Florida. And finally, we know that tobacco causes 1/3 of cancer mortality. Therefore, we will always be a voice as tobacco control advocates, keeping kids from starting to smoke and helping the 70% of smokers who want to quit with cessation programs. We led an effort with many friends with the American Heart Association, American Lung Association, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids to put on the ballot and to pass a constitutional amendment which secures funding for tobacco prevention and control and to give cessation services for those adults who do want to quit. We know how vital it is for that program to continue. So those are our three priorities as we go to the legislature with one voice. The Mary Brogan program, $1.2 million. The biomedical and research programs, to continue funding for those programs. And tobacco prevention, to continue funding for that program. I am now want to introduce three other speakers, beginning with the CEO of one of our fine cancer institutions, the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa. I'm going to introduce these speakers and let them come up one after another just to move this along, beginning with Dr. Bill Dalton, CEO of the Moffitt Cancer Center, Cheryl Ocular of Jacksonville, a phenomenal volunteer with the American Cancer Society and a breast cancer survivor, who will share her story and talk about the importance of breast cancer screening and early detection. And then we're joined by one of our legislative champions, Janet Cruz of Tampa.
Thank you, Ralph. It's great to be here, and it's great to see all these volunteers, including the Cyclists for the Cure. All right, from Moffitt. We stand proud, the Moffitt Cancer Center stands proud to be with the American Cancer Society and our colleagues throughout the state that, in fact, are here to promote research. Why? Because research is hope. Not a family in Florida isn't touched by this disease. And it's through research that the hope is created that we will eliminate and prevent this dreaded disease. I've been at this for a while, about 30 years as a matter of fact, and never have I been this excited to see the basic science being translated to new discoveries which will prevent and cure cancer. And it's through your efforts to carry this message that research is the hope that is so important. And the state of Florida has been a strong part in the battle against cancer, providing funds for research such as the King and Bankhead Foley programs and others. And I can attest, as I know my colleagues throughout the state can as well, that the funds are well spent and the cures are going to be happening through this research, both at Moffitt and throughout other Florida institutions. I want to especially recognize Representative Foley and Representative Cruz for the outstanding leadership in leading the message. So as we're up here expressing our gratitude for the support of the legislature and the continued support of the legislature, I too want to join Ralph in imploring our leaders to help us eliminate this dreaded disease. It needs to be completely eliminated so patients are not dying and suffering from this disease. And again, it's through hope, it's through research that the hope is created. Now, I'd like to have the privilege of introducing the real hero, Cheryl Ocular, the cancer survivor.
Thank you. First of all, I just wanted to say how proud I am to be part of the American Cancer Society and to be able to be here today to share a little bit of my cancer journey with you. I was first diagnosed with non-invasive intraductal breast cancer in October of 1992 at the age of 36. You see, I was one of the lucky ones. My mother had just had a lumpectomy and 6 weeks of radiation. I was going in for my yearly physical and told my doctor about my mother and asked him, should I have a mammogram? Since I've always had fibrocystic breasts, I was concerned that maybe we were missing something. Maybe something was hidden that we were not seeing with the routine breast exams. Am I glad I did? Because it revealed calcifications in my milk duct that were cancerous. If I had not had this done, probably another 4 or 5 years would have gone by before I reached the age of 40, the normal time for mammograms. I had a mastectomy followed by reconstruction. I was not estrogen positive, so no chemo or radiation was required. We felt having the mastectomy, we had gotten everything. I then decided that I needed to do something, that I needed to volunteer myself and my time so I could benefit other young women like myself and give them the hope and courage they needed. So I then became a volunteer with the American Cancer Society. All was well until around 2000 when my yearly mammogram once again found a reoccurrence in my left breast. I had another mastectomy and reconstruction and was once again on a healthy path. Sometime in April of 2005, I felt a lump under my right arm. I was scared. We had a biopsy and the results confirmed our biggest fear that once again the cancer had returned. This time it had metastasized. It was now my lymph nodes under my collarbone, my clavicle, my stomach, and all my adrenal glands. I was told that I now had an aggressive form of breast cancer. I was now HER2 positive. I went through 6 months of aggressive chemo and started taking Herceptin. Things looked good for a while, but another PET scan revealed the cancer was now in my mesentery area. This time I started taking some new daily oral chemo medication, Ticarbenzolota. You see, if it would not have been for research, these drugs I was now taking would not have been available to me. Yes, I am so thankful for research. The cancer did not go away, and in December of 2010, I had surgery to remove several lymph nodes in my mesentery area. The next PET scan showed that once again the cancer was back, so I underwent 6 weeks of radiation, and since then I have been clear. If I can leave you here today with something, I want to make sure to stress how important early detection is, how every woman deserves to have the ability to have a mammogram. It saved my life. How important research is, because without it, the life-saving cancer drugs I am currently using may not have been available to me. Finally, becoming a volunteer with the American Cancer Society has enabled me to listen, become informed, and to educate others about cancer and to let my voice be heard. Being diagnosed with cancer is a terrifying thing. When you hear that C word, your whole life changes. You're not sure what tomorrow will bring. One day I may lose this battle, but until my dying day, I'm going to fight. We've got to find a cure. Even if it doesn't help me, we need it for our daughters, our granddaughters. We need it for all those people now battling this disease. We have to give them hope. Thank you.